Welcome to today's Explainer. You know that immediate stomach-dropping panic you get when you spot a rogue charge on your credit card statement? We've absolutely all been there. Your stress levels go through the roof. But today, we're taking that exact scenario and transforming it into a simple, incredibly easy-to-follow playbook. We're going to break down exactly how you can take back control of your account and use the rules to your advantage.
Are you fed up with unexpected charges on your Citibank card? Imagine effortlessly resolving those issues without a hitch. Well, by the end of this explainer, you will have the exact knowledge you need to navigate this whole process with total confidence.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start by understanding Citi's dispute policies. Then we'll look at how to prepare your dispute file, how to actually initiate those disputes, what happens during the investigations, and finally, how to prevent future unauthorized charges. Let's kick things off with Section 1, Understanding Citi Dispute Policies. We need to establish the rules of engagement and the legal shield that actually protects you. So the absolute foundation of your protection is the Fair Credit Billing Act, or the FCBA. Basically, it's a federal law designed to protect you from unfair billing practices, and it legally grants you the right to dispute charges. Now, on top of this federal backing, Citibank explicitly offers a $0 liability policy for unauthorized charges. What does that mean for you? It means if a charge is truly unauthorized, like neither you nor anyone allowed on your account made the purchase, you are not held financially responsible. Knowing you have that legal backing instantly takes a ton of the fear right out of the equation. But here's the thing, it's totally vital to categorize your issue correctly right out of the gate. Are we talking about fraud, or is it a billing error? While both are super frustrating, they require totally different responses. Fraud is when someone outright steals your card info and goes on a shopping spree. If that happens, cancel the card immediately. A billing error, on the other hand, usually involves a merchant you actually know. Maybe they charged you twice, maybe the amount was wrong, or you just never got the goods. Those billing errors, those go through the standard dispute process we're focusing on today. And this brings us to a brilliant illustration of a really crucial nuance. Get this. There's a legal case, Hassan versus Chase and American Express. Hassan paid nearly $1 million upfront for fine wine to be delivered way in the future. Well, the merchant went bankrupt before delivering anything. So Hassan tried to dispute the charges under the FCBA. But here is the massive catch. He had already paid off his credit card balances in full. The 10th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that because his amount of credit outstanding was zero, he literally had no claim under that specific provision of the FCBA. The big takeaway here? If you fully pay off a disputed charge before resolving it, you might accidentally surrender your leverage. Crazy, right? All right, moving on to Section 2, preparing your dispute file. Rushing in empty-handed is a huge mistake because gathering the right evidence is the true secret to a successful claim. Before you even think about clicking a button on the Citi website, you've got to do these 3 things. First, verify with your household members. You'd be surprised how often an unauthorized charge is actually just a spouse or a teenager making a purchase you didn't know about. Second, and this is absolutely the best first step, contact the merchant directly. Merchants have direct access to their systems and can usually reverse a bad charge way faster than the bank's massive administrative machinery. Finally, if the merchant won't play ball, gather up all your receipts, emails, and whatever correspondence you have. You're definitely going to need that evidence. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the physical signature requirement. If you ever have to use a formal printed document for a dispute, you literally have to sign it in ink. Why? Because these act as actual legal documents. The bank might actually need to compare your physical signature on this form with the signature the merchant has on a sales slip, just to prove fraud. Section 3. How to initiate disputes. Let's get into the actual battle phase, how to formally lodge your complaint once your evidence is ready to go. Listen up, because time is absolutely of the essence here. You have a strict 60-day window from the date of the statement where the error first appeared to report your dispute. That's how you preserve your FCBA protections. Wait 61 days and you're on really shaky ground. Once you file, Citi is legally required to acknowledge it within 30 days, though honestly they usually do it much faster. From there, they have a maximum of 90 days or 2 billing cycles to investigate and figure it all out. The easiest, fastest way to kick this off is digitally. Just log into your Citi account or the app, head over to Account Activity, find the specific transaction, and hit Dispute Charge. That fires up an interactive wizard that'll ask you a few specific questions. Oh, and a quick pro tip, don't bother trying to use Citi's automated chatbot to file a dispute. It literally can't do it. It'll just redirect you right back to this exact page to use the wizard anyway. So the crucial point is understanding exactly where to send your paperwork if you choose to mail it in. Citibank is massive. If you send a formal billing dispute to the standard payment address in Louisville, Kentucky, you are asking for disastrous delays and you might even miss your 60-day window. Billing disputes must, absolutely must, go to the dedicated P.O. box in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And hey, if you do mail it to Sioux Falls, your letter needs to be precise. You've got to include your full name, account number, the exact transaction date, the exact disputed amount, and a crystal clear reason for the dispute. And throw in copies of your supporting docs. Never, ever send the originals. To make sure your legal rights are fully locked in, definitely send the whole package via USPS certified mail with a return receipt requested. Section 4, Investigations and Potential Outcomes. The dispute is filed, the ball is in Citibank's court, so what exactly happens next? While they're investigating, you might notice something called a provisional credit pop up on your account. Let's demystify that industry jargon real quick. It's exactly what it sounds like, provisional. It's a temporary, conditional credit for the disputed amount, just so you aren't stuck paying for it while Citi looks into things. But keep in mind, if the merchant actually proves their case and wins, Citi is going to reverse that credit right back out, and you will be on the hook for the charge plus any interest. So how long does it take to actually see that provisional credit? Well, it depends heavily on the transaction. For a standard dispute, the bank usually has to give you that credit within 10 business days if they need more time to investigate. But if your account is brand new, like under 30 days old, they get up to 20 business days. And for tricky stuff like foreign transactions or point-of-sale debit charges, you could be waiting up to 45 days before any credit shows up. Now here's a wild fact that catches a ton of people off guard. Say you win your dispute. Awesome, right? Congratulations. But wait, winning a dispute means that original charge is erased, which means any rewards points, miles, or cash back you earned on that specific purchase, yep, those get deducted right out of your account. If you've already spent those points, it can actually drag your rewards balance into the negative. Crazy, but true. Finally, Section 5, Preventing Future Unauthorized Charges. Because winning a dispute is great, but avoiding the whole mess in the first place is way, way better. You can basically build a fortress around your account with just a few simple tweaks. The absolute best thing? Enable Citi alerts. But watch out, because Citi's default alert threshold is usually a whopping $1,000. Fraudulent charges are almost always way smaller than that, so jump into your settings and lower that threshold to a few bucks so you catch literally everything. Pair that with reviewing your statements like a hawk, going paperless to dodge mail thieves, and reporting a lost card the absolute second you realize it's gone. All right, you've got the playbook now. You understand the FCBA, you know the critical 60-day window, how to file online, and how to lock things down with custom alerts. So are you ready to take full control of your credit card statements and assert your rights with total confidence? This explainer provides advice based on current policies and procedures at the time of creation. Always verify with Citibank for the most up-to-date information. The content is intended for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. Thank you so much for joining me today. Now that you've got this playbook in hand, what steps will you take today to secure your accounts?